This is Basic Electronics Engineering. The paper code is EC201. It has 3 number of lectures. Total contact hour is 36 and the total credit is 3. Myself, Dr. Indranath Shakar, Associate Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at JS College of Engineering, Kolleri. Welcome to Module 2 of PN junction diode and its applications. There are 4 course outcomes of this subject. The first course outcome is to study the PN junction diode, ideal diode, diode models and its circuit analysis, applications of diodes and special diodes. Basically, our focus is to develop the growth of the students' knowledge on the uh, foundation construction of the PN junction diode, as well as the different doping concentrations of the diode and the corresponding applications of the diode. So starting from the different model analysis of the diode for application in various types of circuits, we will carry out several mathematical examples which will give immense of knowledge to the students, so that students can play with diode, students can perform projects, create models using the diodes. The second course outcome deals with operational amplifier. Here our main focus is to develop the students' knowledge with the basic internal stages of the op-amp, so that students can freely demonstrate about the working principle of operational amplifier, starting from the basic amplifiers using op-amps such as the inverting and non-inverting amplifiers. Students will be able to create several types of circuits such as the differentiator, integrator, as well as buffer amplifier, instrumentation amplifier, so precision diode. There are various applications of operational amplifiers, and students can just play with op-amp so that they can create several types of projects using op-amp. And thereafter our attention will be towards the positive and negative feedback circuit. Here the students will go through the knowledge of the basic amplifier, and thereafter they will apply the feedback concept to the basic amplifier, so that they can enhance the parameters such as the input impedance, output impedance, bandwidth, gain of basic amplifier to some modified value. So feedback amplifier is another part of the control system which can give the idea of control system subject. The fourth one is dealing with the development and capability to analyze and design the simple circuit containing nonlinear elements such as the transistors, using the concept of load lines, operating points and incremental analysis. In this subject there are 5 modules. Module 1 is the basics of semiconductor, module 2 is the PN junction diode and its applications, module 3 deals with the bipolar junction transistor, and module 4 deals with the field effect transistor. Module 5 is the feedback and operational amplifier. Module 6 is the cathode ray oscilloscope. Now here the chronological arrangement of the subject module will be beneficial for the student to grow the knowledge from basic foundation elements to complex circuitry using the basic electronics subject. The prerequisite of this subjects is the fundamental of electricity, direct current, devices and circuits, series and parallel circuits, to the study of active and passive components, Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's law, and KVL, KCL, Ampere's law, etc. KVL stands for Kirchhoff's voltage law and KCL stands for the Kirchhoff's current law. The course outcome, program outcome mapping is having several weightage depending on the high, medium and low, which are numerically weighted by 3, 2 and 1. We have an explanation of such course outcome versus program outcome, because program outcome is assigned by National Board of Accreditation. There are 12 program outcomes which are mapped to the course outcome. Now the first course outcome, as we have gone through, it is the study of PN junction diode, ideal diode, uh, diode models, its circuit analysis, its applications, as well as special diodes. The weightage has been given maximally to the program outcome 1 and program outcome 12. The program outcome 1 states that it applies the knowledge of mathematics, science and engineering fundamental and an engineering specialization to the solution of complex engineering problems. Similarly, program outcome 12 deals with the part, the lifelong learning, in which it is stating that recognize the need for and have the preparation and ability to engage in independent and lifelong learning in the broadest context of technological change. So as the basic foundation knowledge of this course outcome 1 which it dealt with, that is why it is mostly matching with program outcome 1 and program outcome 12, and there are medium weightage given to program outcome 2, 3, 5 and 11. Now the second program outcome is the problem analysis, and the third program outcome is the design and development of solutions, and the fifth one is the modern tool uses, and correspondingly 11th one is the project management and finance. So therefore these program outcome statements are getting the middle weightage, that means numerically 2 it is given. And the fourth program outcome is the conduct investigations and complex problems. Since we have minimum concept of start of the complex problem in this subject, because there is another advanced course, analog electronics, the students will go through in the fourth semester. They will be understanding in more detail, so that is why complex problems will be suitable in the analog circuit subject, not in the basic electronics. The main course objective of this basic electronics is to impart the fundamental knowledge to understand the basics of semiconductor and components like diode, transistor, FET, MOSFET and operational amplifier. It will be it will build mathematical and numerical background for design of electronic circuits and components value. Students equipped with the knowledge and training provided in the course will be able to participate in design and development and operation in the different area of electronic system. So therefore the basic electronics subject is actually, in a nutshell, is the basic knowledge for the several components, so that students can know the characteristics of those foundation components, and knowing the characteristics of the component, students can apply this component for their own project or own circuit development. And during the circuit analysis, student can measure the parametric value of the component, so that they will understand the status of the component, whether it is giving correct value or it is giving the wrong value. So for this subject, a data sheet for individual component is also mandatory for students to see, because until and unless students go through the data sheet, they will not understand the detail of a particular component, because the data sheet gives not only the physical structure, dimensions, as well as various electronic parametric value for each and every component, and there are much more details given in data sheets because it is made by the manufacturer. The topics to be discussed today will be the diode models, energy band diagram, and current through PN junction at forward bias and reverse bias, VI characteristics and current expression of diode, temperature dependencies of VI characteristics of a diode. Regarding the application of diode, there are three diode models which are frequently used by circuit designer whenever there is a mathematical calculations required regarding the comparison of voltage or comparison of resistances for a particular circuit analysis. Now here, as you see, there are three models of the diode named ideal model, constant voltage drop model, piecewise linear model. So these are the three models. So let us go one by one. The first is the ideal diode model. In the ideal diode model, the symbol is look like the simple diode as we are denoting it by a arrowhead with a vertical line. The anode and cathode are properly shown with the positive sign and negative sign. Regarding its characteristics, that means the ideal diode characteristics is shown with the graph axis are VF and IF for the forward voltage of the diode VF and the forward current IF. Now in this graph, one thing we have to note that once VF is starting to be a positive voltage, that means VF greater than 0, once it is occurring for the ideal diode, the current IF rises abruptly as shown by the small red vertical line in the characteristics. So this means that ideal diode does not have any voltage drop for the forward bias voltage, as well as it does not have any resistance in the forward direction. So this is not actually true, but it is a comparison. That means when the circuit for which this diode is applied, the voltages are large enough with reference to the forward bias voltage, as well as the resistances used in the circuit are much larger compared to the resistance which is offered by the diode under the forward bias. So therefore, we can ignore the diode resistance and diode cut-in voltage in those circuit. So if we ignore these two parameters, nothing remains for the diode to claim. So therefore, for VF greater than 0, we can assume that diode is switched on. So therefore, it is just like a electrical switch. Whenever it is switched on, there is no consumption of the current within the switch. That is the ideal switch. So that type of ideal switch behavior, if shows by the diode, then it is known as the ideal diode. Thereafter, constant voltage drop model. For the constant voltage drop model, there is a DC voltage source followed by the ideal diode. So why it has been shown that the DC voltage source is given? Because the DC voltage source shows the cut-in voltage for the diode, and in the characteristics it is showing that whenever VF is reaching that cut-in voltage V0, thereafter current starts to rise abruptly with a vertical red line segment. So this means that whenever a circuit for which the diode is applied, the cut-in voltage is comparable with other voltages in the circuit, then cut-in voltage cannot be ignored. So that is why V0 comes in the picture. But here the forward resistance of the diode has been ignored because the forward resistance is of the order of few hundred ohms, and the circuit for which this diode is applied might have the resistances larger than the forward resistance of the diode. So therefore, the forward resistance of the diode has been ignored in the constant voltage drop model. The third is the piecewise linear model. For the piecewise linear model, a DC voltage source, forward bias resistance, and the ideal diode of that is symbolical representation of the ideal diode, which is using as a switch, all are present here. So therefore, cut-in voltage and forward resistance, which are the two important parameters for the diode, both are shown here. So only different from the practical diode is that the line, the small red line as shown in the characteristics of the piecewise linear model is a straight line. But practically we are getting this line is non-linear. It is look like a asymptotic line. So therefore, whenever Vf reaches the cut-in voltage, approximate model of this piecewise linear model is showing that there is a linear path through which the diode current will be increasing for further increase of the forward voltage for the diode. Therefore, the resistance of the diode under the forward bias can be determined by the inverse of the slope of this small straight line. The energy band diagram of the and the current through PN junction at forward and reverse bias as well as without bias are an important fact that we should go through. So as shown at the top, there are two small circuits. That means one circuit is showing the reverse bias, another circuit is showing the forward bias. Now what does it mean? Reverse bias means the N-type semiconductor in the PN junction diode is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and the negative terminal is connected to the P side, and that is why the ammeter is showing I equal to 0. Though the current is not actually 0, but it is very low, of the order of few microampere. So that is why the current reading under the milliampere shows 0. And this is known as reverse bias because under the reverse bias, the diode is connected to the opposite direction as the direction of the current indicated by the arrowhead of the diode symbol. So under this condition, what happens? The holes in the P side are attracted towards the negative terminal of the battery, and the electrons from the N side will be attracted towards the positive terminal of the battery. So therefore, as the electrons are attracted towards the positive terminal of the battery, therefore they are leaving the donor ions uncovered at the depletion region. Similarly, holes are also leaving acceptor ions uncovered and they are moving into the negative terminal. So therefore, the width of the depletion region will be increasing under the reverse bias, and when this is occurring, the energy band diagram, as we are seeing the bottom figure on the right hand side, it shows that the conduction band for the P side is moving much above the Fermi energy level, whereas the valence band is much closer to the Fermi energy level. That means the concentration of hole in the P side has been increased to a very large volume under the reverse bias. Similarly, under the reverse bias for N side, the density of electron in the N side has been increased. That is why the conduction band energy level comes closer to the Fermi energy level. If we look at the forward bias condition, we see that valence band in the P side are moving away from the Fermi energy level, whereas the conduction band energy level is also moving away from the Fermi energy level. Why it is happening? Because under the forward bias, as the electrons are moving from N side to P side, so after entering into the P side, before being recombined, they are acting as a minority charge carrier. So therefore, the minority charge carrier increases in every region. At P side, electron is increasing, at the N side, holes are increasing. That is why the corresponding energy level for the P side and N side has a change. The difference between the valence energy band and the conduction energy band from the Fermi energy level has been increased for P-type semiconductor and N-type semiconductor respectively. So this is the VI characteristics of diode. For the VI characteristics of diode, as we can see, the forward bias circuit and reverse bias circuit are the only two type of connection possible. That means for the forward bias condition, we are connecting the positive terminal of the battery to the P side and the negative terminal battery to the N side, and that is why after a certain amount of voltage provided by the battery, the diode current starts rising. So under this situation, we see that there is a cut-in voltage. Until and unless the cut-in voltage is provided by the battery, the diode current won't start, but afterwards it will follow a nonlinear path and gradually it is become steeper That means more is the forward bias voltage, the rise of current is abrupt. In case of reverse bias, as we are seeing from the figure, that N-type semiconductor is connected with the positive terminal battery and the P-type semiconductor is connected with the negative terminal of the battery. Under this situation, if the voltage is increased, the reverse current is not much increasing, but of the order of few microamp, it will be flowing through the diode in the opposite direction to the arrowhead in the symbol. But when this voltage is increased to the breakdown voltage, at that time the rise of the current in the reverse direction is increased abruptly, because the electrons are getting sufficient kinetic energy and they are colliding with the covalent bond in the valence band. Therefore, this will make more electrons in the covalent bond free to move into the conduction band. That is why hole and electron pair generation under this high negative voltage will be more. If we further increase the reverse bias voltage, the current will be rising high, but peak inverse voltage is the limiting voltage beyond which we cannot increase the reverse bias voltage, because the increase of reverse bias voltage beyond the peak inverse voltage will rise the temperature of the diode to a uncontrollable limit. So therefore the diode will be burning out. So peak inverse voltage is the limiting voltage for every diode. This is the current expression for the diode under the forward bias, where the ID stands for the diode current and IS stands for the reverse saturation current. VD is the diode voltage, K is the Boltzmann constant, capital T is the absolute temperature, small q is the electron charge. So here KT by Q stands for the ambient temperature equivalent voltage, that is approximately 26 millivolt at 300 Kelvin temperature. So in this equation, it is very much clear that once we have the parameters value for the right hand side, we are getting the diode current in terms of milliampere. So it is requiring some amount of positive voltage VD should be provided to get ID. The temperature dependency of the VI characteristics is shown on the right hand side. Here it is very much clear that more is the temperature, more will be the generation of the electron and hole pair. That is why the curve gradually shifts towards the left. At 25 degrees Celsius, whatever is the slope of the curve VI characteristics, it has been increased to a high value whenever the temperature of the device has been increased to 75 degrees Celsius. The only reason is that due to the rise in temperature, the kinetic energy of electron is rising and it is colliding with the electrons residing in the valence band, and therefore the creation of hole and free electron pair has been increased. So more and more rise in temperature will create more electron and hole pair. That is why at small amount of applied voltage we will get sufficient amount of current. Similar thing is happening for the reverse bias also. And at the bottom the equation shows that I02 is equal to I01 into 2 to the power T2 minus T1 by 10. So this means that the initial temperature T1 and the final temperature T2, if this difference is 10 degrees Celsius, then the rise of reverse saturation current becomes 2 times. So that is why the reverse saturation current is very much temperature dependent. For large amount of temperature fluctuation, the reverse saturation current may go beyond the limit which is required for a particular circuit. So this is all about today. Thank you.